The courtroom erupts in chaos. It's the final day of the biggest RICO trial Chicago has seen in a decade. 17 federal charges. A potential life sentence. Every news outlet in the city has cameras trained on the defense table where Matt Castellano sits. 45 years old, expensive suit, expression carved from stone. His seven-figure defense attorney stands. The room goes silent. Your Honor, I must withdraw from this case effective immediately. The words land like a bomb. The judge's face flashes shock. The prosecutor's mouth curves into a triumphant smile. Cameras flash in rapid succession, capturing the moment a powerful man's world collapses. Matt doesn't move, doesn't blink, just stares at the table in front of him, hands folded, as if he expected this betrayal all along. The judge bangs his gavel. Counselor, we are one day from closing arguments. I understand, Your Honor, but I can no longer represent this defendant in good conscience. Good conscience. The words hang in the air, damning. The prosecutor leans back in his chair, already savoring victory. Matt Castellano, alleged organized crime boss, abandoned by his own lawyer. No defense, no hope. Just 17 federal charges and a jury that's been listening to testimony about his supposed crimes for 6 weeks. The judge looks at Matt. Mr. Castellano, do you understand what's happening here? Matt's voice is quiet, controlled. Yes, Your Honor. You'll need new representation. I'm prepared to grant a continuance. Your Honor. Every head in the courtroom turns. The voice came from the back gallery. Standing there, still wearing her diner uniform complete with name tag pinned to her chest, is Elle Rivers. 32 years old. Black. Her hands shake, but her eyes are steady. Your Honor, I'll represent him. The courtroom explodes again. Reporters surge forward. The prosecutor actually laughs out loud. The judge stares, speechless. But Matt Castellano turns in his seat. His eyes lock with Elle's across the crowded courtroom. And for the first time during this entire trial, something shifts in his expression. Not hope exactly. Recognition. The judge finds his voice. Ma'am, are you an attorney? Elle's throat works. I studied law, Your Honor. 3 years at Northwestern. I can help him. Did you graduate? The pause stretches too long. No, sir. The prosecutor stands, still smiling. Your Honor, this is absurd. This woman is not qualified. I believe in justice. Elle cuts him off, her voice stronger now. And I don't believe in letting a man face life in prison with no one to fight for him. Even if that man is Matt Castellano. The judge studies her, then looks at Matt. Mr. Castellano, do you know this woman? No, Your Honor. And yet you trust her with your defense? Your life. Matt stands slowly. When he speaks, his voice carries absolute certainty. Your Honor, I waive my right to competent counsel. I choose her. The courtroom holds its breath. The judge removes his glasses, rubs the bridge of his nose. This is unprecedented, insane, against every rule in the book. But there's something in Elle's face, desperation mixed with determination, that makes him pause. Emergency motion granted, he says finally. Ms. Rivers, you have until 9 a.m. tomorrow to prepare your closing argument. Don't make me regret this. The gavel bangs. Elle's knees nearly buckle. What has she done? But she wasn't a lawyer. The sidebar conference feels like an interrogation. Ms. Rivers, the judge says, voice heavy with concern. Tell me why you're really doing this. Elle takes a breath. The truth spills out in fragments. She dropped out of Northwestern Law 6 months before graduation. Her mother got cancer, aggressive, brutal. The medical bills crushed them. Elle spent 2 years by her mother's bedside, watching the woman who raised her alone waste away while insurance companies denied claims and hospitals demanded payment. When her mother died, Elle inherited $200,000 in medical debt and dreams deferred so long they'd calcified into regrets. She's been waitressing at Rosie's Diner for 3 years, barely making rent, barely surviving. I've been following this trial on my lunch breaks, Elle admits. I don't know why exactly. Maybe because. She looks at Matt through the glass partition. Because he reminds me of my mother, someone the system decided wasn't worth saving. The prosecutor scoffs. Your Honor, this is manipulative nonsense. But Matt speaks again. She showed up when no one else would. That's enough for me. The judge looks between them. These two broken people, somehow finding each other in the wreckage of their lives. He should say no, should appoint a public defender, should follow protocol. Instead, he says, you have until 9 a.m. Conference room 3 is yours for the night. Bailiff will escort you. Elle's hands shake as she gathers her purse. Matt's former attorney has already fled, leaving behind boxes of discovery documents, evidence, witness statements, 6 weeks of trial transcripts. And Elle has to master all of it in one impossible night. What he told her changed everything. The conference room is small, fluorescent lit, and currently drowning in bankers' boxes. Elle stands in the doorway at 6 p.m., staring at the mountain of files. Her throat tightens. This is insane. She can't do this. She dropped out for a reason, the debt, yes, but also the crushing weight of inadequacy, of never being quite good enough, of watching classmates from wealthy families glide through while she juggled 3 jobs and fell asleep in the library. You don't have to do this. Matt's voice is quiet. He's sitting at the conference table, hands folded, still calm, like a man who's made peace with his fate. You could walk away right now, he continues. No one would blame you. Elle looks at him, really looks. He's handsome in a weathered way. Dark hair graying at the temples, lines around his eyes that suggest equal parts laughter and pain. But it's his stillness that strikes her. Most people facing life in prison would be frantic. Matt just sits. Why aren't you afraid? She asks. I've been afraid my whole life, Matt says simply. I'm tired. Something in Elle's chest cracks open. She sets down her purse, pulls out the first box, opens it. Tell me the truth, she says. All of it. Not what your lawyer prepared. What actually happened. Matt studies her for a long moment. Then he nods. Okay, but you won't like all of it. Elle sits across from him. I'm not here to like you. I'm here to defend you. Matt almost smiles. Then he begins talking. The truth comes out in layers. Matt's former attorney, Robert Shun, Harvard Law, 7-figure retainer, was paid $500,000 by the Moretti crime family to throw this case. They want Matt convicted so they can absorb his territory. Chin's betrayal wasn't conscience. It was business. How do you know? Elle asks, pen flying across her legal pad. I have people. They track the wire transfer. Matt slides a document across the table. Bank records. Shell company. Clear as day. Elle's mind races. This is evidence of jury tampering. Obstruction of justice. Can't use it in court, Matt says. Obtained illegally. But it tells me what to look for in the legal record. Elle pulls another box. If Chun was throwing your case, he would have buried exculpatory evidence. Let me see the witness statements. 3 hours later, Elle finds it. The prosecution's case rests on testimony from 3 witnesses who claim they saw Matt at a criminal conspiracy meeting on March 14th. All 3 swore under oath. Their statements are consistent, detailed, damning. But buried in the discovery documents, hidden in a subsection Chin never mentioned, is Matt's ankle monitor data. Elle's hands start shaking as she reads. Matt, where were you on March 14th? His jaw tightens. Northwestern Memorial Hospital. What? Silence. Matt, I need to know. My mother was dying. His voice cracks on the last word. She had a stroke. I was there all day. She died at 11:47 p.m. Elle looks at the ankle monitor data. Matt Castellano's location, Northwestern Memorial Hospital. 7:15 a.m. to 11:52 p.m. He couldn't have been at the meeting. The witnesses perjured themselves. Your lawyer never brought this up, Elle whispers. He buried your alibi. I never told him about my mother. Matt's eyes are distant. Didn't want to talk about her. Didn't want to use her like that. In that moment, something changes between them. It's midnight when Elle reaches across the table and touches Matt's hand. He flinches, not from fear but surprise, like he's forgotten what comfort feels like. Tell me about her, Elle says gently. And Matt does. His mother, Maria, immigrated from Sicily at 19, spoke broken English, worked 3 jobs, cleaning offices at night, waitressing during the day, taking and sewing on weekends. She raised Matt alone after his father disappeared. Spent 40 years killing herself so her son could have opportunities she never did. She died at 54, exhausted, worn down to nothing. The system took her from me, Matt says, and there's rage beneath the grief. Worked her to death and called it the American dream. Elle's throat tightens because she knows this story. She lived it. My mother was a nurse, Elle says quietly. Dedicated her whole life to helping people. Got breast cancer, and the insurance company fought every treatment. Called it experimental or not medically necessary. She died owing $200,000 to the hospital where she'd worked for 20 years. Their eyes meet across the scattered papers. 2 people shaped by the same brutal truth. The system doesn't save people like them. It uses them until they break. Is that why you stood up today? Matt asks. Because you saw yourself in me? Elle nods. Someone the world decided wasn't worth saving. Matt's hand turns under hers, fingers interlacing. You saved me the moment you stood up. The air in the conference room shifts. Becomes charged. Professional boundaries dissolving in the shared understanding of loss and survival. Elle feels it, that dangerous pull towards someone who sees her completely. She pulls her hand back, clears her throat. We should focus on tomorrow. But the connection remains, humming between them like a live wire. She was defending a guilty man. The case files reveal their secrets slowly. Elle works methodically, cross-referencing witness statements with physical evidence, timelines with testimonies. Matt watches her transform before his eyes, the exhausted waitress becoming something else. Someone focused, brilliant, alive in a way she hasn't been in years. You're good at this, he says at 2 a.m. Elle doesn't look up. I used to be. You still are. She finds the second crack at 2:30. The 3 witnesses who claim they saw Matt, Vincent Russo, Tony DeMarco, and James Chun, all have criminal records. All 3 were facing federal charges. All 3 had those charges mysteriously dropped 3 weeks before trial in exchange for their testimony. They coerced the witnesses, Elle briefs. The prosecution offered deals. Standard practice, Matt says, not when the testimony is fabricated. Elle pulls the investigative reports. Look, the original FBI agent had doubts. He wrote in his notes that the witnesses' stories didn't match the surveillance footage. But those doubts never made it into the prosecution's case summary. Piece by piece, Elle dismantles the government's case. Not because Matt is innocent. He's not entirely, but because the prosecution built their case on lies and coercion. They wanted a conviction so badly they manufactured evidence. At 4 a.m., Elle sits back, exhausted but exhilarated. I can win this, she whispers. Matt stares at her. Say that again. I can win this. Stronger now. The prosecution's case is compromised. The witnesses are unreliable. Your alibi is rock solid. And I can prove Chun was paid to throw your case. We just have to find the legal breadcrumbs. Elle. Matt's voice is thick with emotion. You're brilliant. You know that. Elle freezes. No one has called her brilliant in 3 years. Not since she left law school. Not since she became just another waitress serving coffee to people who barely saw her. I used to think so, she whispers. Matt stands, moves around the table, crouches beside her chair so their eye level. I think so now, he says. Win or lose tomorrow, you already won. You became yourself again. The dam breaks. Elle covers her face as 3 years of suppressed grief pours out. The dreams deferred, the debt crushing her, the daily humiliation of being invisible, the ache of watching her mother die while insurance executives denied coverage from air-conditioned offices, the weight of failure that's become so familiar she's forgotten what success feels like. Matt pulls her into his arms and lets her cry. Doesn't shush her, doesn't tell her it'll be okay, just holds her while she breaks apart and maybe begins putting herself back together. When the tears finally stop, Elle pulls back, wipes her face. Sorry, that was unprofessional. That was human, Matt says. Their faces are inches apart. Elle can see the gold flecks in his brown eyes. Feel his breath. This man she's known for 12 hours feels like someone she's been searching for her entire life. But dawn is breaking outside the windows, painting the sky pink and gold. It's almost 6, Elle says. We have 3 hours. Matt stands, offers his hand, pulls her up. Then let's finish this. In 6 hours, everything would change. The courtroom at 9 a.m. is packed beyond capacity. Every news outlet has sent crews. Federal agents line the walls. Matt's business associates sit in the gallery, stone-faced. The Moretti family's representatives are there too, watching with predatory interest. Elle enters wearing a borrowed suit. Matt's assistant brought it at dawn, navy blue, professional, almost fits. Her hair is pulled back, makeup minimal. She looks like a lawyer, feels like an imposter. The prosecutor, James Mitchell, smirks as she passes his table. Enjoy your 15 minutes, he murmurs. It'll be your last. Elle's hands want to shake. She forces them still. Matt is already at the defense table. He stands when she approaches. You ready? No. Elle sits. But I'm here. The judge enters. All rise. Judge Morrison surveys the packed courtroom with evident concern. His eyes find Elle. Ms. Rivers, I trust you've had adequate time to prepare. Yes, Your Honor. Then let's proceed. Mr. Mitchell, your closing argument. They were trying to break her. The prosecutor's closing is vicious. He recaps 6 weeks of testimony with theatrical flair. The surveillance photos, the wiretap phone calls, the witnesses who testified to Matt's criminal enterprise. He paints a picture of a ruthless, organized crime boss who's corrupted everything he touches. Then Mitchell turns his attention to Elle. And now, he says, voice dripping with condescension, we have a waitress playing lawyer. A woman who couldn't even finish law school, who has no business standing in a federal courtroom, who is so desperate for attention, or perhaps something else, that she's willing to make a mockery of justice itself. Elle's jaw clenches. One has to wonder. Mitchell continues, circling what Mr. Castellano promised her. Money? Protection? Or perhaps, he lets the implication hang. Perhaps she's simply another woman who fell for a charming criminal's manipulations. The courtroom murmurs. Elle feels every eye on her, judging, dismissing. Matt's hand finds hers under the table. Squeezes. Don't let him bait you, his touch says. Mitchell wraps up with a flourish. Don't let sentiment cloud your judgment. Don't let an unqualified woman's emotional theatrics distract you from the facts. Matthew Castellano is guilty of all 17 charges, and he deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison. He sits satisfied. The judge looks at Elle. Ms. Rivers, your closing argument. Elle stands. Her legs feel like water. Every person in this courtroom thinks she's a joke. A waitress with delusions. A woman too stupid to know she's being used. She walks to the jury box. 12 faces staring back at her. Skeptical. Impatient. Elle takes a breath and begins. You're right to be skeptical of me. The jury blinks, surprised. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a waitress who dropped out of law school to care for my dying mother. I work double shifts at a diner for minimum wage plus tips. I have no business standing in a federal courtroom. I'll let that sit. And that's exactly why I can see what really happened here. She moves along the jury box, making eye contact with each juror. Because I know what desperation looks like. I know what it means to operate in gray areas when the world offers you no legitimate path. I know what it feels like when the system fails you so completely that survival requires bending rules. Mitchell starts to rise. Elle doesn't pause. Matt Castellano isn't the monster Mr. Mitchell described. He's a man this system created and then tried to destroy when he survived it. The jury is leaning forward now, listening. The jury was starting to believe. Elle spends the next 20 minutes methodically dismantling the prosecution's case. She presents the ankle monitor data, shows it on the screen for everyone to see. Matt Castellano's location on March 14th, Northwestern Memorial Hospital. All day. His mother died there that night. 3 witnesses testified under oath that they saw Mr. Castellano at a meeting that day. Elle says. They lied. She displays the FBI investigator's notes. The doubts buried in the record. The inconsistencies with surveillance footage. The coerced testimonies. Vincent Russo was facing 20 years for drug trafficking. His charges were dropped in exchange for testimony against Matt Castellano. Tony DeMarco, 15 years for assault. Charges dropped. James Chun, 10 years for fraud. Charges dropped. Elle looks at the prosecutor. Mitchell's face has gone pale. This prosecution offered deals to criminals to fabricate testimony against a man they decided was guilty before the trial even began. They coached witnesses. They buried exculpatory evidence. They built their entire case on lies. She pulls out her final piece of evidence. Robert Chin's bank records from the court filing, and Matt Castellano's former attorney, the man who abandoned him yesterday, received a $500,000 wire transfer from a shell company connected to the Moretti crime family 3 weeks ago. The courtroom explodes. Mitchell is on his feet. Objection. That evidence was not disclosed. It's part of the public court record, Your Honor, Elle says calmly. Filed in an unrelated civil case. Perfectly admissible. Judge Morrison studies the document. Overruled. Continue, Ms. Rivers. Elle turns back to the jury. This wasn't a trial. It was an execution. The prosecutor wanted a conviction so badly he manufactured evidence. A rival crime family wanted Mr. Castellano eliminated so badly they paid his lawyer to throw the case. And you, she gestures to the jury, you were asked to pull the trigger. But she wasn't done yet. Elle's voice softens, changes registers. Let me tell you who Matt Castellano really is. She tells them about Maria Castellano, a single immigrant mother who worked herself to death. About a son who watched the system crush the person he loved most. Did Matt Castellano operate outside the law? Yes. He bent rules. He made morally complicated choices. But he never dealt drugs, never hurt civilians, never committed the crimes the prosecution accused him of. Elle looks at Matt. He's crying silently, tears streaming down his face. He protected neighborhoods when police wouldn't respond. He provided loans to families when banks turned them away. He created jobs in communities the legitimate economy had abandoned. She pauses. Was it legal? Not always. Was it right? That's complicated. But was it the organized criminal conspiracy the prosecution described? No. Elle returns to the jury. I stood up yesterday because I believe everyone deserves someone who'll fight for them, even the people the world has written off. especially them. Her voice cracks. Because I was written off too. When I dropped out of law school. When I became invisible, serving coffee to people who looked through me. When the system crushed my dreams the same way it crushed my mother's life. Elle's eyes shine with tears. Don't let them execute a man because he survived the wrong way. That's not justice. That's revenge on everyone the system failed. The courtroom is silent. Multiple jurors are crying. I'm asking you to see the truth, Elle says, and to choose mercy. Choose reasonable doubt. Choose justice over vengeance. She looks at each juror one final time. I'm not a lawyer, but I know this. Matt Castellano deserves to be judged on facts, not fabrications. On truth, not testimony that was bought and paid for. On who he actually is, not who the prosecution needed him to be. Elle returns to the defense table. Sits. Matt grabs her hand. Thank you, he whispers. The courtroom held its breath. Judge Morrison instructs the jury. They file out to deliberate. Elle and Matt are escorted to the conference room, the same room where they spent last night. The coffee cups are still there, evidence of their impossible marathon. Elle collapses into a chair, adrenaline draining, leaving her hollow. I don't know if I got through to them, she whispers. Matt sits beside her. You were incredible. I've never done a closing argument before. I've never done any of this before. Elle's hands shake. What if I wasn't good enough? What if? Elle. Matt cups her face. Whatever happens, thank you for seeing me, for fighting when everyone else walked away. Their foreheads touch, breathing synchronized. This moment suspended outside time. The bailiff knocks. Jury's back. Elle's head snaps up. Already? It's only been 2 hours. Matt and Elle exchange a look. Fast verdicts can go either way. They return to the courtroom. It's even more packed now. Word spread. The jury that deliberated 2 hours on a 6-week RICO trial. Elle's heart pounds so hard she's sure everyone can hear it. The jury files in. Elle tries to read their faces. Can't. Judge Morrison looks stern. Has the jury reached a verdict? The foreperson stands. An elderly black woman with kind eyes. She looks at Matt, then at Elle. Everything came down to this moment. On all 17 counts, the foreperson says, we find the defendant not guilty. The courtroom detonates. Shouting. Cameras flashing. Matt's associates cheering. The prosecutor slamming his folder down. Federal agents looking stunned. Reporters surging forward. Matt drops his head to the table. Shoulders shaking. Elle can't breathe. Can't move. Can't process what just happened. Not guilty. All 17 counts. She won. A waitress with no law degree just beat the federal government. Then it hits her. Not the victory. The grief. Elle starts crying. Sobbing. 3 years of loss and sacrifice and deferred dreams pouring out in this crowded courtroom. She didn't just win Matt's case. She won back a piece of herself she thought was gone forever. Mom, she chokes out. Mom, I did it. Matt pulls her into his arms. She collapses against him, crying into his shoulder while the courtroom chaos swirls around them. Judge Morrison bangs his gavel. Order. Clear the courtroom. But he doesn't move to separate Elle and Matt. Just watches as this woman, who reminded him why he became a judge, breaks down in the arms of the man she saved. The bailiff starts clearing the room. Media escorted out. Federal agents leaving. Prosecutors storming off. Matt's associates hovering at a respectful distance. Finally, the courtroom is nearly empty. Elle pulls back, wiping her face. Sorry. That was human, Matt says, echoing his words from last night. That was human. Judge Morrison approaches the defense table. Elle and Matt stand. Ms. Rivers, the judge says quietly, you reminded me why I took the bench. The law isn't just statutes and procedures. It's about human beings, about truth, about mercy. He pauses. You should finish your degree. I can't afford. I have some influence at Northwestern. Let me make some calls. The judge extends his hand. Elle shakes it, tears starting again. Congratulations, counselor. He leaves them alone in the empty courtroom. Matt turns to Elle. I meant what I said. You saved my life. We saved each other, Elle whispers. But winning the case was only the beginning. Elle's apartment is small, a studio in a building with questionable heat and neighbors who blast music until 3 a.m. But it's hers, or will be, until the next rent increase she can't afford. Now it's filled with flowers, champagne, gift baskets, all from Matt's associates and business partners. Grateful, respectful, Elle stands at her single window, looking out at Chicago, still processing, still trying to believe any of this was real. Knock at the door. She opens it. Matt stands there in casual clothes, jeans, sweater. Not the expensive suit. He looks younger, less guarded. Hi, he says. Hi. Figured you haven't eaten real food in days. Brought Italian. He holds up bags from Rossi's, the best family restaurant in the city. Elle laughs. How did you know where I live? I'm very resourceful. He grins. Playful. She's never seen him playful. They sit at her small table, eat pasta and drink wine, talk about everything except the trial. Movies, music, childhood memories. The conversation flows easily, naturally. The chemistry from that conference room intensifying now that the crisis has passed. Matt admits he hasn't felt this light in years. This normal. I spent so long being who everyone expected, he says. The dangerous guy. The boss. Never just myself. Who are you? Elle asks. I'm still figuring that out. Matt's eyes find hers. But I know I want. His phone buzzes. Matt's face goes dark. What's wrong? You need to leave, Matt says, standing abruptly. Now. What? Matt, what's? The window explodes. Glass everywhere. Elle screams. Matt tackles her to the floor, his body covering hers. Another gunshot. Wood splinters from the doorframe. Then another. The lamp shatters. Elle can't breathe. Can't think. Terror blank and absolute. Matt's weight pins her down, protecting her with his body. She feels his heart hammering against her back. Then silence. Second crawl by. Matt's security team crashes through the door. 2 men in tactical gear, weapons drawn. Clear, one shouts. Matt rolls off Elle, checks her frantically. Are you hurt? Elle, are you hurt? She's shaking too hard to answer. He pulls her into his arms. They took the shot from across the street. One of Matt's security team reports. Sniper. Long gone now. But boss. The Morettas know where she lives. Matt's jaw clenches. Get her out of here. Take her to the Oak Street safe house. Now. Matt. Elle starts. Please. His eyes are desperate. Please let me keep you safe. They weren't safe yet. The safe house is a penthouse apartment in a building with doormen and security cameras and bulletproof windows. Elle has been here for 2 days. 2 days of isolation. Of Matt's security team outside her door. Of watching the news report on the attempt on her life. The Moretti crime family is sending a message. They lost in court, but the war isn't over. Matt visits every day, bringing food, books, his presence. They talk for hours. The attraction between them undeniable now, but overshadowed by fear. On the 3rd day, Elle can't take it anymore. I can't live like this, she tells Matt's head of security. Hiding. I won't be a prisoner. Ms. Rivers, it's not safe. Nothing is safe. But I won't let them take my life away. Elle grabs her coat. I'm going home. The security team argues. Eventually agrees, but insists on maintaining a protection detail. Elle accepts the compromise. She returns to her apartment. Crime scene tape is gone. Window replaced. But the memory lingers in the new glass, the patched wall. Elle tries to reclaim normalcy. Goes to the corner store for groceries. Milk, bread, eggs. Basic things. The security team follows at a distance. She walks home as twilight falls. Chicago winter biting through her coat. 2 blocks from her building, Elle notices the van. Black, windows tinted, idling. She walks faster. The van's door slides open. 3 men rush out. Elle tries to run. Hands grab her. She screams. A cloth bag yanked over her head. The world goes dark. She's thrown into the van. Door slams. Engine roars. Where's security? Where? Something hits the back of her head. Darkness. Elle wakes to pain. Her head throbs. Wrists bound behind her back. Ankles tied to a chair. The bag is gone, but she's in darkness. A warehouse. Maybe. Abandoned. She can hear water dripping. Smell rust and decay. Footsteps echo. Lights slam on. Blinding. Elle squints. 3 men surround her. The one in front is older, scar cold-eyed. Elle Rivers, he says. The waitress who thinks she's a lawyer. Who are you? We represent the Moretti family. He circles her. You cost us a lot of money. A lot of opportunity. Matt Castellano was supposed to go away for life. Instead, you made him a folk hero. Elle's heart pounds. The FBI doesn't know where you are. No one does. He crouches in front of her. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to send Matt Castellano a video of you. And when he comes to save you, and he will, because you're his weakness now, we'll kill you both. Elle's throat closes. Terror so complete she can't speak. The man stands. Pulls out a knife. Let's make that video. Matt had one chance to save her. Matt receives the video at midnight. Elle, tied to a chair. Terrified. The message is clear. Come alone or she dies. Matt's hands shake as he watches it loop. This brilliant, courageous woman who saved his life now in danger because of him. Because the Morettis know she matters. His security chief wants to handle it tactically. His associates want to wage war. Matt makes a different call. Give me James Mitchell, he tells his assistant. The prosecutor for my trial. Boss, are you? Now. 30 minutes later, Matt is in Mitchell's office. The prosecutor looks wary. What do you want, Castellano? They have Elle Rivers. The Morettis kidnapped her because of me. Matt's voice is raw. I know you hate me, but she's innocent. She's a good person who helped the wrong man, and I need your help to save her. Mitchell stares. Why would I? Because you're a prosecutor. Because you believe in justice, even if we disagree about what that means. Matt leans forward. Because Elle Rivers reminded everyone in that courtroom what the law is supposed to be about. And letting her die would make a mockery of everything you claim to stand for. Silence. Mitchell's jaw works. Then he picks up his phone. This is ADA Mitchell. I need a tactical team and FBI backup. Now, Matt's security team traced the van through traffic cameras. Identified the warehouse. Now it's surrounded. Matt's people, FBI agents, SWAT. Matt approaches the entrance alone. Hands raised. He pushes through the door. Footlights blind him. He can see Elle in the center, alive, terrified, and the 3 Moretti soldiers around her. Castellano, the leader, says, brave or stupid? Both. Matt walks forward slowly. Let her go. Take me instead. The leader laughs. Why will we do that? Because I'm what you actually want. Matt stops 10 feet from Elle. Their eyes meet. She's nothing to you. Just leverage. But me? The Morettis want me dead for what I did to their operation. For surviving your rigged trial. Elle's eyes widen. Matt, don't. So here's the deal. Matt continues, ignoring her. You let her walk out. I stay. You get what you want. The leader considers. Or we just kill you both. You could. Matt's voice drops. But Elle Rivers is all over the news. The waitress who beat the feds. She's a folk hero now. If she disappears, the FBI will tear this city apart looking for her. Every cop, every federal agent, every resource they have will come down on the Moretti family. He takes another step, but if she walks out safe, you're just settling a beef between organizations. Different story. Less heat. The leader's eyes narrow. Calculating. Matt plays his final card. And you should know, I didn't come alone. Bullshit. We said come alone or she dies. I came through the door alone, Matt says. But I called the FBI before I walked in. James Mitchell, the prosecutor for my trial. Because I'm done with the old way. I'm done with revenge and war and violence. Matt's voice breaks. I'm in love with her. Elle gasps. It's the first time he said it when they're not in immediate danger. When it's just truth. So you're right, Matt continues. She's my weakness. But she's also my strength. She showed me I could be different. Better. And if you hurt her, there's nowhere in this world you can hide. Because I'll burn everything down to find you. And for once in my life, the law will be on my side. Silence. The leader's hand moves toward his gun. Then, flashbangs. The warehouse erupts in chaos. Windows shatter. Smoke grenades. Tactical team pouring in. FBI, SWAT, Matt security simultaneously. Shouts of federal agents and get down. Matt lunges for Elle. Cuts her restraints with a knife he had hidden. Shields her body as gunfire erupts. Deafening. Terrifying. Then, sudden silence. Clear, someone shouts. Matt looks up. The Moretti soldiers are on the ground, hands zip-tied. FBI agents everywhere. James Mitchell steps through the smoke, bulletproof vest over his suit. Ms. Rivers, Mitchell says. Are you hurt? Elle can't speak. Just shakes her head. Matt pulls her into his arms. She collapses against him, sobbing. He holds her like she's the only thing keeping him tethered to earth. You're safe, he whispers into her hair. I've got you. You're safe. EMTs rush in. Check Elle over. Minor bruising, dehydration, shock, but no serious injuries. They want to take her to the hospital. Elle refuses to let go of Matt. I'm not leaving him, she says. Mitchell approaches. Mr. Castellano, the Moretti organization is finished. We have enough from tonight to take down the entire leadership. And, he pauses. You called us instead of handling this yourself. That matters. Matt looks at Elle, still in his arms. Then back to Mitchell. I'm done. With all of it. I want out. Completely. The FBI will want to talk. About cooperation, immunity, transitioning your legitimate businesses. No deals, Matt says firmly. I'm going legitimate. Clean. I don't want immunity. I want to actually earn a second chance. Mitchell studies him. We'll be watching. Good, Matt says. I want you to. I want everyone to see I'm different now. He looks down at Elle. Her eyes are red from crying, but she's looking at him with something that makes his chest ache. You didn't just save my life in that courtroom, Matt says softly. You gave me a reason to live it differently. You showed me I could be more than what they said I was. Elle touches his face. We saved each other. Mitchell clears his throat. Ms. Rivers, we'll need your statement. But can wait until tomorrow. Elle nods, still holding on to Matt. As they're escorted out of the warehouse, dawn is breaking over Chicago. The sky painted in shades of gold and pink. A new day, a new beginning. He'd risk everything for her. Northwestern Law School auditorium. Graduation ceremony. Elle Rivers sits in the second row, cap and gown, honor cords around her neck. She returned to law school full-time after the kidnapping. Judge Morrison kept his promise. Made calls, secured scholarships, cleared the path. Matt paid the rest of her tuition. Refused to let her refuse. Elle walks across the stage when they call her name. Elle Marie Rivers, Juris Doctor. The applause is thunderous. She looks into the audience and finds Matt in the third row, clapping louder than anyone, tears streaming down his face. Pride evident even from a distance. After the ceremony, they meet outside. Matt pulls her into a spinning hug. I'm so proud of you. I couldn't have done it without you. You could have, Matt says. But I'm glad you didn't have to. They walk through campus hand in hand. 6 months of dating. 6 months of building something real. Not born from crisis, but from genuine connection. They took it slow. Dinner dates. Long conversations. Learning each other outside of courtrooms and conference rooms in life-or-death situations. Matt has news. I finalized the sale yesterday. All of the illegitimate operations gone. Sold the buyers who want to go legit. I'm completely clean now. How do you feel? Lighter. Matt smiles. Like I can finally breathe. I've invested everything in legal businesses. Real estate development, community centers, job training programs for formerly incarcerated people. Elle squeezes his hand. Your mother would be proud. I hope so. His voice catches. I'm trying to build something she'd approve of. Something that helps instead of hurts. They reach Matt's car. But instead of getting in, he says, there's something I want to show you. They drive downtown. Matt parks in front of a beautiful renovated brownstone. Victorian architecture, fresh paint, new windows. Professional but warm. What is this? Elle asks. Matt hands her a set of keys. Your law office. Elle's hands freeze. Matt. Rivers Legal Defense, he says. For people who can't afford representation. People the system has written off. I'm your first investor. Elle looks at the building. Then back at him. This is too much. I can't. You already gave me everything, Matt interrupts. You gave me my life. My freedom. My chance to be someone different. Let me give you this. Let me invest in your dream the way you invested in mine. Tears spilled down Elle's cheeks. I don't know what to say. Say you'll use it to change lives. The way you changed mine. Elle unlocks the door. Steps inside. The office is perfect. Reception area, conference rooms, private offices, law library. Everything she needs. On the main desk is a framed photo. Elle in her diner uniform. Name tag visible from a newspaper article about the trial. So you never forget where you came from, Matt says softly. And how far you've traveled. Elle turns to him. This man who walked into her life at his lowest moment and became her greatest gift. She pulls him down and kisses him, passionate, grateful, full of promise. Thank you, she whispers against his lips. Thank you, he whispers back, for seeing me, for fighting for me, for loving me when I didn't deserve it. You deserved it, Elle says. You just needed someone to see it. They hold each other in the sunlit office, two people who saved each other building something beautiful together. Their journey became their purpose. The community center ribbon-cutting ceremony draws a crowd. Politicians, business leaders, neighborhood residents, media. The center is Matt's biggest project, a massive facility offering job training, legal aid, healthcare services, youth programs. Everything his neighborhood needed. Everything the system failed to provide. Matt stands at the podium, uncomfortable with public speaking, but determined. This center is named for my mother, Matt Castellano. She worked 3 jobs her entire life, trying to give me opportunities she never had. The system took her from me too soon. He looks into the audience. Finds Elle. But someone showed me that we can build something better. That second chances are real. That redemption is possible. Elle smiles at him, eyes shining. After the speeches, after the ribbon cutting, after the tours, Matt and Elle walk through the empty gymnasium. Their footsteps echo in the vast space. You know what you said about second chances? Matt stops walking, turns to face her. Elle nods. Matt gets down on one knee. Elle's hands fly to her mouth. Tears instant. He pulls out a ring. Simple, elegant, meaningful. You gave me mine. Will you share yours with me? Forever. Yes. Elle's voice breaks. God, yes. Matt stands, slides the ring on her finger, and kisses her. When they pull apart, both are crying. I'm not the man I was, Matt says. I'm the man you saw I could be. We saved each other, Elle whispers. We became who we were meant to be together. Snow begins falling outside the gymnasium windows. Winter, but it feels warm inside. Safe. Full of promise. They stand together in the empty space, imagining the children who will play here, the families who will find help here, the lives that will be changed here. I love you, Matt says. I love you too, Elle replies. And in that moment, everything feels possible. Their story was just beginning. The ceremony is small. 50 people. Diverse crowd. Matt's reformed business associates, Elle's law school friends, clients from her firm, neighborhood residents, even James Mitchell in the back row. Elle wears a simple, elegant dress. Matt in a tailored suit. No extravagance. Just joy. You two reminded me why justice matters, Judge Morrison says. Not because it's perfect, but because people like you fight to make it better. You saw each other when the world refused to look. You stood up when sitting down was easier. You loved each other not despite your pasts, but because you understood them. He smiles. That's what marriage should be. Not rescue, but recognition. Not fixing each other, but helping each other become who you're meant to be. Matt, do you take Elle to be your wife? I do. Always. Elle, do you take Matt to be your husband? I do. Forever. Then by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. They kiss as their community cheers. Rivers' legal defense now occupies 3 buildings, 20 attorneys, hundreds of clients served. Elle is in court almost daily, fighting for people the system has forgotten. The walls are covered with photos, clients whose lives changed, cases won, families reunited. In the center, that original photo of Elle in her diner uniform. The reminder. Elle is in her office reviewing a case when her assistant knocks. Ms. Rivers, sorry, Mrs. Castellano, your 3 o'clock is here. A young woman enters. Early 20s. Nervous. I can't afford a lawyer, she says immediately. But I heard you help people like me. Elle smiles. Gestures to a chair. Tell me your story. And she listens. The way someone once listened to her. Matt stands before the city council, confident now in ways he never was in his old life. The Castellano Housing Initiative will provide affordable, quality housing for 500 families in underserved neighborhoods. Jobs will go to local residents. Training programs will ensure community members build equity and skills. A council member asks, Mr. Castellano, given your past, why should we trust you with public funds? Matt doesn't flinch, because my past taught me what happens when society gives up on people. When the only paths available are illegal or impossible. I want to create legal paths, opportunities, hope. He pauses. My wife showed me that redemption isn't about erasing your past. It's about building a future worthy of the second chance you've been given. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'll spend the rest of my life proving I deserve that chance. The council approves the initiative unanimously. The Maria Castellano Community Health Wing opening ceremony. Matt funded the entire project, state-of-the-art facility providing free and low-cost health care to underserved communities. Matt and Elle stand before the plaque bearing his mother's name. Matt touches it gently. She will be so proud of you, Elle whispers. She will be proud of us, Matt corrects, for building something that helps instead of hurts. A young nurse approaches. Mr. Castellano, I wanted to thank you. My mother is receiving cancer treatment here. Free, because of your foundation. Tears in her eyes. You saved her life. Matt's throat tightens. Your mother is exactly who this is for. I couldn't save mine, but maybe I can help save others. The nurse hugs him. Elle takes his hand. They stand together, honoring the woman whose loss changed everything. The auditorium is packed with law students. Elle stands at the podium, confident in ways she never was as a student here. I dropped out of this school 6 months before graduation, Elle begins. I thought my dream was dead. But sometimes our greatest detours lead us to our true destinations. She tells them about the trial, about standing up despite fear, about fighting for someone everyone had written off. The law isn't just statutes and precedents, Elle says. It's about human beings, about seeing people in their full complexity, about fighting for justice even when, especially when, it's difficult. A student raises her hand. But how did you know you could win? You had no experience. Elle smiles. I didn't know. I was terrified. But I knew that not trying was worse than failing. Sometimes courage isn't knowing you'll succeed. It's believing someone is worth fighting for even when success seems impossible. The students applaud. After the lecture, dozens approach with questions. Elle stays for hours, mentoring, encouraging, investing in the next generation the way others invested in her. A quiet restaurant. Anniversary celebration. They sit across from each other, candlelight between them, easy intimacy of long partnership. Can you believe it's been 5 years? Elle asks. Best 5 years of my life, Matt says. Even counting the parts where people shot at us. Elle laughs. Especially those parts. Nothing says romance like diving in front of bullets. They reminisce. The conference room all-nighter. The courtroom victory. The rescue. Building their new lives brick by brick. Do you ever regret it? Matt asks. Standing up that day? Never. Elle says immediately. That was the day I became myself again. The day I remembered I was more than my circumstances. You saved me, Matt says. You saved me too, Elle replies. We saved each other. Their hands meet across the table. Wedding rings catching alight. Two people who found each other at their lowest and lifted each other to heights neither imagined possible. I love you, Matt says. I love you too, Elle whispers. Always. Matt and Elle return to the federal courthouse where it all began. They stand in the empty courtroom during off hours. Just them and memories. Elle sits in the gallery where she sat that day. The seat where fear and courage collided. Where she made the choice that changed everything. Matt sits at the defense table. The place where he'd been abandoned, then saved. Do you think about that day? Matt asks. Every day, Elle says. I was so scared. Matt joins her in the gallery. I was ready to give up. Then you stood. Elle takes his hand. You know what I realized? We weren't saved by the verdict. We were saved by choosing each other when everyone said we were worthless. She looks around the courtroom. This is where I learned that one person's courage can change everything. That standing up matters. That believing in someone can literally save their life. Matt pulls her close. And I learned that redemption is real. That you can build a new life. That love doesn't rescue. It reveals who we always could be. They sit together in the empty courtroom, bathed in afternoon light streaming through tall windows. The space where their story began, where two broken people found each other and became whole. Sometimes the most powerful defense isn't in a courtroom. It's believing in someone when the world won't. It's standing up when sitting down is easier. It's loving someone not despite their past, but because you see their future. Elle Rivers never became a traditional lawyer. She became something better, a champion for the forgotten. Someone who fights not for the easy cases, but for the people everyone else has given up on. Matt Castellano never escaped his past completely. The man he was will always be part of his story, but he built a future worthy of his second chance. He transformed from someone who survived the system to someone who's helping fix it. Together, they proved that one moment of courage can rewrite two lives. That standing up for someone can save both of you. That love doesn't rescue. It reveals who we always could be. And that second chances, when truly embraced, can transform not just individuals, but entire communities. Based on the timeless truth, everyone deserves someone who will fight for them. Elle Rivers' firm has served over 2,000 clients. Matt Castellano's foundation has helped 50,000+ families. They remain married, still fighting for second chances. Have you ever taken a chance on someone others had written off? Have you been that person who needed someone to believe in you? Share your story in the comments below. Your courage might inspire someone else to stand up. For more stories of courage, transformation, and second chances, subscribe to our channel. New stories every week that remind us all, it's never too late to become who you're meant to be.